Hello, I'm Amy Bingham, your host. Welcome to Video SOS Help For Emotions, Part 3, Managing Anxiety, Anger, and Depression. In Part 3, we will be studying managing anxiety and fear, managing anger, and managing depression. Please allow about 20 minutes to view and study each of video chapters 7, 8, and 9. Anxiety, anger, and depression are unhealthy emotions which interfere with our pleasant emotions of contentment and calm. Let's begin by studying the emotions of anxiety and fear. If you are reading the SOS Help For Emotions book, please read chapters 7, 8, and 9, which parallel this part of the video. Also, go to sosprograms.com and download our free resources which accompany this video program. You'll find these resources helpful as you watch and learn from this video. Here is Dr. Clark. He will describe how our beliefs and self-talk about future events can create anxiety.
Anxiety and fear may sound similar, but there is a difference. Fear results from a specific present threat or danger, such as a tornado in the distance or driving on ice. Anxiety is nonspecific, generalized worry and apprehension. Anxiety results from our beliefs and self-talk about future events that we are afraid will happen. These future activating events are potential threats to our well-being, such as threats of losing something valuable, like our health, a job, our reputation, or an important relationship. Our B beliefs and self-talk primarily cause the anxiety. Many people with high levels of anxiety hold the irrational belief, if something is dangerous, I should be constantly upset. People can have anxiety as a problem or as a disorder. If our emotional reaction to anticipated bad events becomes severe enough, we can develop an anxiety disorder. Anxiety becomes a disorder when an individual experiences great emotional distress or experiences significant impairment in relationships with others or significant impairment as a wage earner, homemaker, or student. Manage your anxiety and fear, or it will manage you. The SOS book describes 8 kinds of anxiety disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, agoraphobia, specific phobias, social phobia, and OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder. These disorders are basically different ways of being highly anxious and apprehensive. In extreme cases, an anxiety disorder can incapacitate a person. A little anxiety helps to focus the mind, but too much paralyzes it. In the following scene, notice that Daniel's high level of anxiety is causing him to put off asking a girl for a date. By disputing his self-defeating, irrational self-talk, he will decrease his level of anxiety and ask the girl out. Also, by decreasing his level of anxiety, he is more likely to present himself well when asking her for a date. Try to find the A, activating event, C, consequences, his B, beliefs and self-talk, including any hot links, and his D, dispute statements. Write them on the ABC self-analysis form. Download this form from sosprograms.com under free resources. Also, consider hitting the back button and replaying the scene. It is a challenge to find all 4 parts, the A, C, B, and D.
I think I'll ask Sarah for a date. I've been thinking about asking her out for 2 weeks now. But she might turn me down. If she turns me down, it would be awful. I couldn't stand it. I would be a loser. I think that I'll wait a couple of weeks to ask. I'm feeling really tense and upset now. I feel hot all over. This is silly. It's only a phone call. She will say either yes or no. I'm making myself anxious and upset. If I get turned down, it won't be awful. I can stand it. And I'll work on not feeling like a loser. I'm going to call right now.
By using de-dispute statements and coping statements, Daniel will feel less disturbed if she does turn him down. He started telling himself, if I get turned down, it won't be awful. I can stand it, and I'll work on not feeling like a loser. Think of your unpleasant emotions as sections of an emotions pie, with a mixture of anxiety, anger, and depression. Here, the person's dominant, unhealthy emotion is anxiety, with lesser amounts of anger and depression. Usually, a person will experience some anger and depression along with anxiety. Managing your emotions partly depends on your ability to identify your various emotions. Naming our feelings is essential to understanding them. You can't always control your stressors, bad events, but you can learn to manage your level of emotional stress, a tense feeling. Stressors and stress, what's the difference? A stressor is the unpleasant, bad event itself. Stress is our unpleasant, tense feeling. Some people have many stressors, bad events, in life, but experience very little stress. Other people have few significant stressors in their life, but complain about the high amount of stress, a tense feeling, they constantly feel. You can't always control stressors in your life, but you can control the amount of emotional upsetness that you feel. Remember the difference between stressors and stress. Stressors are bad events. Stress is tension and emotional upsetness. Don't turn stressors into stress. Your goal is to reduce the amount of stress, tense feelings that you feel. There is another way to explain the difference between stressors and stress. Stressors are bad A activating events. Stress is emotional upsetness and occurs as C consequences of emotions. How do you control your level of stress? You manage your B's, beliefs and self-talk. Showing you how to manage your beliefs and self-talk is a major goal of SOS and this video. Learn to soothe your emotions. When you are feeling worried and tense, there are ways that you can manage your anxiety. Begin by acknowledging that your beliefs and self-talk mainly cause your emotions, rather than the actual bad events themselves. When emotionally upset, use distractions such as exercise and entertainment to feel better. However, avoid retreating into smoking, overeating, and taking recreational drugs, as these increase anxiety problems and life problems. When upset, analyze your ABCs. Complete the ABC self-analysis and improvement form when you feel anxious and apprehensive. Completing this form will help you to identify and clarify bad activating events, as well as beliefs and self-talk causing your anxiety. Go to sosprograms.com, free resources, and download this form. Anti-anxiety medication is often helpful. Meeting with a therapist who does cognitive behavior therapy can be especially helpful. Be sure to meet with a therapist at least 5 or 6 times. Meeting with a professional for only medication is a medication appointment and not a therapy appointment. A particular type of therapy, called exposure and response prevention therapy, is useful in helping many people with anxiety disorders. The client is given emotional support while enduring exposure to the feared situation. The person's fear slowly dissipates as a result. Let's meet Brandon. He was in the middle of giving a class presentation when anxiety caused him to lose his concentration and to draw a blank. He abruptly walked out of class. His anxiety and humiliation increased even more. At the end of his interview, we will see how his dispute statements are helping to lower his level of anxiety and humiliation. Try to find the activating event, consequences, his emotions and behavior, his beliefs and self-talk, including any hot links, and his dispute statements. Write them on the ABC self-analysis form. Also, consider hitting the back button and replaying the scene. It is a challenge to find all 4 parts, the A, C, B, and D.
This is what happened to me at the university. I was in the middle of giving a class presentation, a 10-minute class presentation in history class, and I drew a blank. I just stood there. I couldn't think of a thing to say. Everyone was just staring at me and waiting for me to go on. I was so embarrassed that I just walked out of class. I told myself, I am a complete idiot and failure. I should have been able to finish it. I should have done a good job. I was so humiliated that I almost dropped the class. Then I talked with my instructor. I went to her office. She's giving me another chance to do my class presentation. I'm going to be better prepared this time. I'll bring cue cards in case I need them. Also, I'm telling myself I don't have to keep feeling humiliated. Everyone fouls up at times. And even if I don't do a good job, I'm still not going to beat up on myself. I'll keep telling myself, no one is perfect. Those are some of the tips my instructor gave me.
Brandon used the following dispute statements to decrease his level of anxiety and humiliation. I'm telling myself I don't have to keep feeling humiliated. Everyone fouls up at times. And even if I don't do a good job, I'm still not going to beat up on myself. I'll keep telling myself, no one is perfect. In summary, anxiety, worry, and apprehension result from our beliefs and self-talk about past, present, or future activating events. These activating events are potential threats to our well-being, threats of losing something valuable, such as our health, a job, or an important relationship. Threatening situations, activating events, can contribute to our anxiety. However, what we believe and tell ourselves about those threatening events mainly cause our anxiety. If our emotional reaction to anticipated bad events becomes severe enough, we can develop an anxiety disorder. The 8 kinds of anxiety disorders described in the SOS book are basically different ways of being highly anxious and apprehensive. In extreme cases, an anxiety disorder can incapacitate a person. Manage your anxiety and fear, or it will manage you. Do acknowledge that your beliefs and self-talk mainly cause your emotions rather than actual threatening events. You can't always control the bad events in your life, but you can learn to manage the level of emotional stress that you feel. Complete the ABC Self-Analysis and Improvement form when you feel anxious and apprehensive. Filling out this form will help you identify and clarify bad activating events, as well as your beliefs and self-talk causing your anxiety. This increased clarity will make you more effective in solving emotional problems and practical problems. Anti-anxiety medication is often helpful. Also, meeting with a therapist can be particularly helpful. If you meet with a therapist or counselor, plan on a number of appointments and not just 2 or 3.